A factor of a number is a number that divides the given number evenly or exactly. For example, the number 4 is a factor of 24. It's a factor of 24 because if I were to divide 4 into 24, it divides an even number of times, which is 6, leaving no remainder. So we can use simple division to list all the factors of a number. 4 is just one factor of 24, but there are several factors of 24. So here's a way to list all the factors of a number by using simple division. So let's take 24 and we are going to create a table. See, I just drew a line here and we're drawing a table with the left side and the right side of the table. Within this table, I am just simply listing numbers 1 through 11, right? Just 1 through 11. And taking my calculator, and of course this is for anyone who, has some challenges with just doing that mental division. This is a really easy way to use your calculator to list all of the factors of a number. So just stay with me here. So of course 1 times 24 will equal to 24. 1 times a number will give you that number, right? So here's what we're going to do. You're going to take 24, put it into your calculator, and then press your division button and divide 24 by each of these numbers, and you'll put the result here. As long as that result is a whole number, it does not have a decimal, right? For example, 24 divided by 2 in your calculator will give you 12. So that, of course, means that 2 times 12 is 24. 24 divided by 3 will give you 8. So, of course, that means 3 times 8 will give you 24. 24 divided by 4 will give you a 6. And, of course, that means that 4 times 6 will give you 24. And 24 divided by 5, well, that will not work because that will give you a decimal or a fraction. So, the number 5 is not considered a factor of 24. We'll go to the next number. 24 divided by 6 will give you a 4. But if you think about this, now we're starting to repeat the factors that we already have. Once you start to repeat factors, then you simply stop here where you begin to repeat those factors. We're going to stop. And we only consider the factors above that line. So that means that our factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. So all of the factors of 24 include 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Let's do another example of finding all the factors of a given number. So here's our next example, 51. We are going to find all of the factors of 51. So I'm listing 1 through 11 on the left side of my table, and I'll begin dividing 51 by each number. I don't necessarily need a calculator to write down 1 times 51 here. So putting the 1 in 51 is we already know that, right? So let's start with 51 divided by 2. When you put 51 divided by 2 in your calculator, of course, it doesn't give you a whole number. It gives you a decimal or a fraction. That's because 51 cannot be divided by 2 evenly or exactly. Now, here's the thing. If your number does not divide by 2, that means that that number will not divide by any even number. So we can exclude 4, 6, 8, 10, and any other even number as a factor of 51. So that helps us reduce the time that we need to spend finding any other factors. So let's move to the next number. Now we have 51 divided by 3. And when you divide 51 by 3, you get 17. So we will write the 17 next to the 3 because that means that 3 times 17 gives us 51. Then we go to 51 divided by 5. That does not divide evenly or exactly. And then also there's a rule. If the number you have, if it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0, it will not be divisible by 5. But if you don't remember that rule, that's okay. Just use your calculator. So 51 divided by 5 will not work as a factor because it does not divide evenly. And then that brings us to a 51 divided by 7. And of course, 51 divided by 7 does not give us an even number, an exact number, and it doesn't divide evenly. So we cancel out the 7 as a factor. And 51 divided by 9 does not work, so we cancel out the 9, and then of course 51 divided by 11 does not work. Now, we didn't list 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17, and here's why. Once you see that there are those limitations that you have, you know that 51 cannot be divided by any even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. None of these numbers can be divided into 51. None of those are factors, right? Then you can go ahead and add 13 to your list to see if your number can be divided by 13. And then, of course, in this case, it cannot. We will exclude the number 15, and here's why. If 5 doesn't divide into that number evenly, 15 is not going to divide into that number evenly. So we can immediately exclude that number. And then we just end up repeating factors because now we're all the way down to 17. And we know that 17 divides evenly because we already decided up here that when we divided 3 into 51, it gave us 17. So now we are repeating. So we can pretty much stop here since we are starting to repeat factors, and we see that we only have for factors of 51 1, 3, 17, and 51. So all of the factors of 51 include 1, 3, 17, and 51.